I look at discipline as a muscle. So if you keep working that discipline muscle, like maybe it's really weak right now, but you do something you don't want to do, that builds my discipline muscle a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And it gets stronger and stronger. Anybody can work on their discipline. They just have to be willing to do the things that they don't want to do. Because the way I look at it is life is either easy now and harder later, or harder now and easy later.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Ish with the Relentless Project, and I'm here with Coach Megan out of Erie Fitness Academy. If you guys remember the space we're in, we had DJ, her less than better half, on here, and now we have Coach Megan. Coach Megan, you are in a fitness. You run the Mighty Babes. I created a logo for her, and she didn't use it, but yeah.
It was a great logo.
Putting you on blast. No, I'm kidding. So tell us a little bit about your story, your upbringing. What made you, what did you do before coaching? Is it something you've always done? What got you into the coaching world? So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I dabbled in fitness a little bit when I was in high school, but I was always a cardio girly, didn't want to touch weights because of course I didn't want to get bulky. And it wasn't until I met DJ that I got into actually lifting and learning more about what all that is and knowing that I'm not going to get bulky if I touch a heavy weight. But before I did this, I went to school. I got my bachelor's degree in medical imaging and did that for a year and a half before I realized I hated it and I couldn't picture myself doing it the rest of my life. So despite what my parents were saying, obviously they wanted me to do the safe thing and stick it out. And I didn't listen, of course. And
best way to be.
Yes. And I pursued personal training, and then I got into online fitness coaching in 2020 when the world shut down and couldn't really do in-person anymore. And DJ wanted me to take on online coaching through the gym because, again, there was no way to help people or bring in money. So I took on that role, and then I branched off on my own in 2021.
So what made you want to get into imaging to begin with? Because I feel like that's such a niche field. Usually people are like business or finance or accounting when they're going to school. Like me, marketing. Yeah, typical.
Yes.
What made you go into such a niche field?
Honestly, I didn't think about what I wanted to do the rest of my life. I was kind of just fucking around and figuring it out. But my cousin's girlfriend at the time, she was doing it. And at first I actually wanted to be a dental hygienist. Because I was like, okay, you make a decent amount of money.
You have good teeth.
Yeah, so. But I couldn't imagine myself just being in people's mouths all day. Also, I also was a huge germaphobe, so I don't know why I even chose that. It was just a safe option, something I could see myself doing. But I actually talked myself out of it because I went to a couple colleges and they were saying, this is really hard, and I doubted myself. And now I'm glad I did because I could have been doing that. But I doubted that I could actually do it because I felt like I'd be too stupid to actually go through with it. My parents didn't go to college. I didn't think that, not that I couldn't do it, but I don't know if I just had it in me.
Yeah, college is it's a touchy subject because, growing up, I was told if you're going to be anything, you have to go to college. You have to go to college. You have to go to college. And then we see a lot of people going to college and less people doing trades and stuff like you guys are doing, fitness coaching. There's so many things that help people that is outside of college. And then what made you do the fitness route? Like online coaching while the world shut down like that? Online coaching wasn't a big thing at that time. Mm-mm. And what made you want to dive into the hardest thing during the hardest time? I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, it's so crazy to me.
It changed my life, completely changed my life. I was so depressed. My mindset was shit. I hated my body, hated the way I looked. I hated the way I felt. And I was just at a really low point in my life. And thankfully I met DJ through the gym actually, and it changed my life. Like, and now I love helping women do the same thing, because there are a lot of women that hate the way they look, they hate the way they feel, and they think that there's no hope for them to change. But 100% there is. They just have to know what they're doing and be willing to put in the work. And that's the kicker, is be willing to put in the work.
That's the hardest thing for most folks. Like, we talk about it on this podcast a lot. It's just taking that first step and then remaining relentless in your pursuit of anything. Because if you do something for long enough, you're bound to be successful in it. But when it comes to health and fitness, and we're going to talk about this a little later, like the people's approach to fitness and health, and if you go to the gym and you lift weights, which I'm guilty of, you tend to know it all, right? Like you people see you and they're like, oh, look at him, he looks good, so he must know about diet, he must know about structuring fitness plans. Like, you know how many people approach me for fitness plans, and when I tell them, like,
You can bench 405.
but that's exactly my point. I don't know how to structure a fitness plan.
Yeah.
Like, I do what works for me. I don't know how the human body works. Like, that's where coaches come in, because they dissect all that.
And
But
I
what-
struggled with that for so long, because like I felt like I didn't look the part. And you have to look the part, because if you look a certain way and people don't like that, like if I was, a little chubbier, like people wouldn't trust me, I feel like.
Well, this is one of those fields, and it's going to rub people the wrong way. This is one of those fields where you have to walk the walk to be able to influence people.
Yep.
You know, if I'm trying to give people fitness advice and I'm not following the advice I'm giving, why would you give me and trust me with your money for your journey? And people get offended by that. It's like, you don't have to look a certain way to be a coach. No.
But would you go to a dentist with wooden teeth?
Yeah. Talking about dental. Yeah. Would you go to a dentist with all his teeth out and rotten?
Yeah, no, absolutely
Probably
not.
not. Would you go to a doctor who is fidgety, or a surgeon who's fidgety, and he's like, I don't know. No. But when it comes to health and fitness, because it's been something that people have done on their own for so long, and now it's become a specialty field. Like, it's growing. The fitness industry is growing. It's always been supplements and gyms, and now it's coaches. And there's so much that goes into someone's fitness and health journey. What made you want to focus on women specifically?
This is a good question. So I was working with men for a little bit, and men are great because they get really fast results, because men can just transform a lot easier than women.
Testosterone.
But yes. And so it's great for marketing, because their before and after pictures are amazing, but men do not listen typically. I don't know if it's just because they're listening to me and I'm a girl, and they just don't want to take that advice, or what that is. But I'm a big believer in mindset is the biggest part to your fitness journey, because you can lose weight, you can build muscle, you can eat better, but to make those results last and to actually make yourself truly happy and to change your lifestyle, you have to change your mindset, because there's so many things that hold people back, whether it's all or nothing thinking, perfectionism, negative self-talk, their identity. Like, there's so many things that go into it that if you don't change those things, if you lose weight, you're gonna gain it right back.
Yeah, mindset fuels behavior. If you don't have the mindset, you may change your behavior temporarily, but then you're always going to go back to that stuff
And then,
that was
then you
hurting
think something's wrong with you. You think, oh, I'm a failure. This just isn't in my cards. When it is, you just aren't working on the right things.
And is that your approach then to when you're doing fitness or helping these women? It's changing their mindset before, or like how does that work when you get a new client? What are you doing behind the scenes without disclosing your specialty?
There's no secrets to this. So I have them fill out a form, and this will give me a number, like their mindset score, and it shows me where they're struggling. So on a scale of 1 to 10, like how much they're struggling with all or nothing thinking, or perfectionism, or negative self-talk, all of these things. So it helps me understand what they specifically need help with. And then I give them documents and help them through that. We have like weekly group calls and stuff like that to, go over things in more depth, and help people specifically on those things.
So what's the difference in your mind between a trainer and a coach? Because you're saying things that I like in my mind, but I don't want to influence your answer. I want to see because we hear fitness trainers and then we hear fitness coaches. Or are those terms interchangeable?
I don't know.
It's not a trick question. I just
no.
like, because I like to hear people's thought process on that, because you could be, you know, Megan Myers, fitness trainer. You're Coach Megan.
Yeah. I feel like a coach just impacts your life more. I don't know, just from my, like the way I look at it, like fitness trainer, like I called myself a personal trainer before I got into fitness coaching, but I just think a coach has a bigger impact on someone's life than a trainer does. Like a trainer to me just comes in, works with you for an hour, and then that's it. But a coach, you know, tries to change your life outside of just being in the gym.
That's exactly how I view it, because it seems like you know, you're trying to change their mindset, their behavior. You're checking in on them outside of the gym, which is important because you're here for an hour. You have 23 hours left in your day.
Yep.
So how do you manage that? Like if you get a score of someone and you see their mindset is like they're not all they're in, they struggle with their appearance, they're very unhappy. How do you approach that?
I basically just, you know, tell them, well, they see their score, they know what they got, they know what the areas that they're struggling with. And then I try to make it manageable, because if I'm just like, okay, you struggle with this, here's all the documents, you know, review this on your own time. It's just overwhelming to people. And like, I'm the same way. Like I get overwhelmed and then it makes me not want to do anything. It makes me want to just take a nap instead. So I do it week by week. So they focus on one thing for a week and then we move on.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest struggles with the gym, with people who aren't comfortable with going to the gym or have never been to a gym. They come in, they see, especially a facility like your guys', it's so many machines, so many areas. Like, do I use
It's
a medicine ball?
overwhelming.
It is like, and I get this way still if I'm going to a new gym.
Yep.
You know, I like in my gym, I'm the fucking man in my mind. I know where everything's at. I know exactly. I'm going to go here, here, here because these machines are closest, and then I'm going to go here. This is what I'm going to focus. I go to a new gym, I have to
You're like
scope it out. I'm like, who's watching me? But
Yes.
it's like fitness is more of a mind thing than it is a physical thing, because you have to think about what you're doing, think about it as you're doing it, think about it after you're doing it. It's all, and then pushing yourself to actually do it. And I see, like, everyone knows this, January 1st, right? Everyone's it's a good solid, like, I hate people who are like, why does everyone pick January 1st? It's a good start date. It's a mental thing. It's a good, like, January 1st, new year, new slate, which in reality, any day can be that slate for you, but people pick January 1st. We see this huge group of people come in. I love seeing that. I'm annoyed because I can't get to my machines, but I love seeing it.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, people are out there getting after it. And
especially bigger people too,
Yeah.
that you know they're uncomfortable, but it's like good for you. Like you're getting out of your comfort zone, and I respect that.
For sure. And then comes March, April, May, and then it starts dwindling, and you're like, man, where are all those people at? And it's all a mental thing. So incorporating that into your plans and stuff is huge. Tell us, what were some of your struggles getting into the fitness realm? Because especially nowadays, and remaining here, there's a lot of people taking on coaching. There's so many certificates online you can get. Like, what was one of the struggles you noticed getting into this field, especially during 2020 when the world shut down, gyms were shut down? You know, now you have to, that personal connection is kind of at a distance now because you're online. What were some of the struggles you encountered?
For online coaching, or like getting in training?
I mean, for you, it would involve that, but just getting involved. I
would say I just didn't know shit about anything. But like I said, I have to give a lot of credit to DJ because he taught me so much more than the NASM CPT, like getting that, like,
oh, that's who I was certified.
Hey, I love that. But, it's different than doing it in real life. Like the same thing with ultrasound. It's like you can read all this shit in a book, but until you go in and you're looking at people's organs and like seeing shit that you don't really know, and like you have to just do it. And I just didn't know what I was doing, and I was willing to be okay with not being good. And that's where a lot of people struggle, is they try something and they're like, well, I'm not good at this, and they give up. Especially with fitness, it's like, oh, well, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm uncomfortable. They're not willing to be bad at it until, that's with everything. It's like if I try to play guitar, I'm going to be bad at playing guitar for a while. And I have to know, okay, I'm going to be bad at this, but if I put enough reps in, enough time, enough effort, I'm going to be good at it eventually one day.
There's this thing I read online that it said if you do something for 6 minutes a day, every day, you will be in the top % of people who do it. You'll become an expert. 6 minutes. Like, think about working out. You're there for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, if you do something all in for 6 minutes a day, you become an expert. But when people want to do something, and this was me back in the day, I would want to get into something.
They want to do it more.
I would suck at it, and then I'd be like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
Or if I, like, by luck of the draw, was good at it, I'm like, this is it. This is for me.
Yes.
And that's what solidified it for me. But in reality, like you said, if you're trying something new, you will be bad at it. It's just a matter of, do you want to improve and progress? And fitness, like, it's so touchy because there's so many plans and coaches and, you know, creatine was bad and it's good. And then people, oh, you hold water rate. No, you dispose of the water. There's so many studies that kind of conflict, and it's a messy area.
You could probably find a study on whatever you're trying to believe. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, is creatine bad for me? You'll get a bunch of studies that show how creatine's bad for you. Is creatine good for me? Same thing. Like,
that's true. No, that's true. Tell us about a success story of a client of yours. Walk us through, like, how the beginning looked, some struggles you guys encountered, or girls encountered, and then how that actually ended up playing out, and how you feel, and what makes you continue doing this.
So one of my favorite success stories is Lindsay. She actually comes to the gym here now and does the group classes. She was one of my favorite clients to work with. She always followed directions. And I don't care how bad you are at doing this stuff. If you can follow directions and do your best, I love working with those kind of people. It's the people that you're like, okay, well, let's try not having a hot dog for lunch, and, you know, let's try to have something a little bit more nutritious.
We're in Erie. Smith's hot dogs kind of a big deal.
I know, they're good, but she wasn't even in Erie either, so she didn't even have Smith's. So
no excuse.
Yeah, no excuse. But yeah, she followed directions. You know, she struggled with typical mindset stuff, you know, low motivation, not wanting to do it, just like everybody does. Like, you and I still struggle with not wanting to go to the gym or not wanting to eat healthy, but we're disciplined enough to just do it anyway. And sometimes it's not perfect, obviously, but you know, she struggled with those kinds of things. But she ended up losing, and she was a skinny fat build. You know, typically
she air quoted that for our listeners.
Yes. But yeah, she was lifting and eating more protein, and like I said, following directions, working on her mindset, all of that. And she still does it to this day. And she looks amazing. She lost like 13 pounds of fat, which, looking at her, I didn't think she had 13 pounds of fat to lose because she was a small person. But she lost 13 pounds of fat and gained muscle, and she looks amazing, and she's still doing it. And what I love is she has her kids getting into it too. She has 2 kids, and they're younger. Awesome. And they'll work out with her. I saw she posted a video last week of her doing push-ups, and her kids were doing push-ups with her. And it's so awesome to see that, because what I love about fitness is I help her, she helps her family, they help their, you know, it just spreads. And that's what I really love about it.
What would you say are some key factors in someone having a successful fitness journey? Like, what would you, if you can pull some things out to be like, if you do this or you practice these principles, you're bound to have a successful fitness journey. What are some of those key factors?
Following directions, number one. You have to do that, because why hire a coach and then get the advice you need and then not listen to that advice? Doesn't make sense.
Because it's hard.
It is hard. But like I said, willingness to work on the mindset stuff, because if you're unwilling to do that, which again, men weren't as willing as the women were, but you have to be willing to work on that, because if you don't, you're going to continue to struggle. And, yeah, so that's a big one. Lifting weights, you know, doing that consistently, knowing that you're not going to be motivated, like all the mindset stuff, tracking your food. I'm a big believer in tracking your food. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do it every day, but most days you should be doing it. Just the same as like if you don't want to work out, you still have to do it, but it's not going to be perfect. Like there's going to be a day you don't want to work out and you don't, and that's okay. But you can't let those days keep stacking up. You have to keep showing up. And I look at discipline as a muscle. So if you keep working that discipline muscle, like maybe it's really weak right now, but you do something you don't want to do, that builds my discipline muscle a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And it gets stronger and stronger. Anybody can work on their discipline. They just have to be willing to do the things that they don't want to do. Because the way I look at it is life is either easy now and harder later, or harder now and easy later. And it's way better if you do it where, the second one. Like
do the hard first.
Yes. And then it's easy. And it makes it easier in the now too. Like people don't realize that. I posted something and actually went viral probably like 3 weeks ago. And it was like, what people think is hard. And it was like working out, eating healthy, drinking their water, getting sleep, that kind of stuff. And then what's actually hard. And it was, hating what they see in the mirror, feeling like shit daily, being a bad example for their kids, seeing their kids go through the same struggles that they did, bullying and health issues, all that stuff, dying early, living a life that they regret. Like all of these things are way harder than just working out a couple times a week and, getting your steps in. Like it seems hard, but it actually ends up being something you'll never regret.
I saw a post about a similar principle where you're going to experience hard. That's life. Mm-hmm. When do you want to experience it? Do you want to control the hard and experience it now so then you can get easier? Or do you let it be out of your control and then not be able to manage it? Because I truly believe the more hard things you do, the more things you do that you don't enjoy, the more things, every time you wake up, like I'm guilty of this too. I'll wake up at 4 and I'm like, I can get another hour of sleep. Like I'm tired. Like I'll talk myself but then I get up, right? And then I'm brushing my teeth and I'm like, well, now I can get 45 minutes. And I'm like, no, then I get dressed. And I can get 30 minutes. It's like, no, now I got to go. I get in my car and I'm like, I can sleep in the parking lot. But like, I'm still like, my mind isn't in it, but that discipline is still, and then I do it. And that, as you mentioned, that workout's not going to look like the workout where I'm hopped up on pre-workout. I'm feeling fucking great. I watched Arnold on YouTube and now I go in there. It's not going to be the same workout, but it's a workout nonetheless. And you've built that discipline muscle. I'm stealing that. You've worked on that discipline muscle because although your mind's not in it, you don't want to do it, you're still pushing through it. And if you did more hard things more often, that discipline muscle gets so big.
Yep.
And then when you experience something like a tragedy or something in your day that doesn't go, you're able to manage it well because you've controlled your hards so many times. Wow, that sounded bad. You've controlled your hardships so well, so many times that when you get one that's uncontrollable, you're like, man, like I've been here before. I've had this feeling I can manage. But you see a lot of times people who don't do that, and then these hardships that they can't control happen. Those are the ones that tend to fall into depression more. They hurt more. They use avenues of escape like drinking, drugs, all this stuff.
Scrolling social media to
it's another one, or one that people don't even think is bad. Junk food.
Emotional eating. That's a big one.
Like that's an addiction. People may not believe me. I ate a party pack of Oreos in one sitting. And
that's a big joint?
About 10,000 calories.
Oh my God.
Bad calories too. Like I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But it was a time, it was 2020. I don't even want to say the fucking word, but it was 2020. The world shut down. Shit was happening in my life. And it was me and my TV and me sucking my feelings. I'm like, oh, I bought this party pack of Oreos that normally would take me half a year to eat. Ate it in one sitting as I binge watched TV because there's just nothing else to do.
And then you felt like a piece of shit right after.
But that's the thing. Like
you felt good doing it. And it's like, this is so delicious and I love it because I love a sweet treat.
You hate it.
Yes.
You're like, why did I do that? Now I feel miserable.
Yep. Same thing with drinking. Same thing with mindlessly scrolling. Like after you do it, you don't feel good. But in the moment, that's choosing something that's easy now, but it makes it harder later. And I was going to ask you, is there a time that you didn't get up at, 4, whatever you said in the morning, and like you listened to that little voice, like you can get another hour of sleep?
Oh, for sure. And I've regretted it every time. There's not one time where I've woken up at 4 went back to sleep, got up and went, man, because you're not getting a good quality sleep.
No, you're
like,
not falling back into like that deep
it's
sleep.
ruined.
Yeah.
You know, and like we trick ourselves to go, but I can get an extra hour. What is that extra hour going to do for you?
Nothing. You're going to wake up more tired, actually.
Yeah. And then the whole day you're groggy. You didn't get your workout in. So you're like, I should have just worked out.
Yep.
You don't have that
Now you have to
energy
do it
kick.
after work, and then you're tired, and then, or you just don't do it at all, and then it just
It
spirals.
stacks. It's that stacking. You can
Yes.
stack small wins, and then you hear that all over social media, every podcast. Stack your wins, and it compiles. Well, the losses also stack. You know, you don't go to the gym, then you skip a good breakfast, and you grab junk food, and now you're at work miserable. You mistreat your coworkers or your team, and then you go home and you're miserable because all this stuff happened at work, and there was drama at work that you may or may not have caused because of your mood or because of your choices. Then you're going to bed and you're like, wow, I had a horrible day. Like those losses stack too. We try to like put that under the rug and like, no, the wins are what stack. Well, it goes both ways.
Yeah. And then your discipline muscle gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you're just not doing anything that you actually need to be doing to live the life that you actually want to live.
And back on that scrolling stuff, also guilty of that sometimes. I have 1,000 things that, like, you know, I wear many hats. And then I'll be like, oh, you know, like I'm just going to rest for 5 minutes because a 5-minute rest is going to give you so much.
Yes.
And then an hour and a half passes and I'm like, I don't have time to finish this. And I need to do this. I need to upload the episode. Why didn't I upload the episode? So while I'm scrolling, it could have been uploading. What? I put one thing off and it compiles. Now everything's delayed, everything. And then I'm just like so overwhelmed. I'm like, well, I'm going to do nothing.
Yep. I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah. Why are we like this? What is the impact of like a successful fitness journey? And I'm saying that like you decided to go to the gym, you see results, you're feeling healthier, you have more energy, you're looking better. And to me, you mentioned something earlier that I want to touch on. Like you said, skinny fat. Like people look skinny, but then you go to the gym, you eat right, and then your appearance starts to change. But the scale doesn't necessarily change. And I think one thing I like about what you do, you hold these fat blobs, and it's a good visual of like, this is what this person, I lost 20 pounds. What does 20 pounds look like? This is what it looks like. And then you hold 20 pounds of muscle and it's like this big.
Yeah.
And you're like, but it's a good
But it
visual.
takes so long to build muscle.
Yeah, but it's cool because like people start this journey and what's the first place they go to measure their metric?
The scale.
The scale.
And
right?
that doesn't tell you how much fat you're losing. And like, it's so hard to get people to stop focusing on the scale. That's one of like the mindset things as well. It's like they see that scale go up, and even if they're having wins in every other area of their life, they feel better, they have better habits, they look better. Even when they literally look better in the mirror and their clothes are fitting different, they still see that scale. And if it doesn't move or it goes up one day, ruins their entire day. Like, it's so crazy. And I have to tell them, like, look, you didn't gain fat. And I love telling people this because it kind of blows their mind. I say 1 pound of fat equals about 3,500 calories. So to gain 1 pound of fat, you would have to eat in excess 3,500 calories. And then on top of your maintenance calories, which we'll say is 2,000 calories. So I ask them, did you eat 5,500 calories yesterday? And they say, well, no, of course not. Well, then you didn't gain fat. It's probably water. You're bloated. You ate things with more carbs and sodium, which is causing more water retention. You didn't take a shit. Your cycle, you're on your period. Like, there's so many things that it could be, but we automatically think that it's fat. And then when we lose weight, we automatically think it's fat too, because we love like seeing that. We're like, oh yes, this is exactly what I want. But it also could be you didn't drink enough water yesterday.
Well, it goes back to the easy versus hard. That's an easy metric.
Yep.
Like if you go to the gym today and you bust your ass, like you got a pump, right? In 30 minutes to an hour, that pump is gone. You know, you don't see the progress happening. So it's hard to be like, progress was made. You know, you're not thinking, well, I went there, I couldn't lift. What are you benching now? I saw you put up some weight.
135.
2 years ago, was that a thing?
Actually, I did 145.
Oh, what were you doing 2 years ago?
The bar.
But like, you know, you're looking at that, you're like, man, the bar. And then you put
Yeah.
5 pounds on and you can't do it. I didn't gain anything.
I heard a great analogy for this. A piñata. So you're at a birthday party and you hit a piñata. Like the first kid hits a piñata, nothing falls. hits it again, nothing falls, nothing falls, nothing falls. And if you hit it enough times, you finally get the candy out. You don't see any wins until you hit it, how many times. You just have to keep staying consistent with it. And I actually saw another analogy too. I love like analogies.
I talk in metaphors.
Yes. So like a paper towel roll, you take one sheet off, nothing changes. Like it still looks the same. Another sheet off, looks the same. Another sheet, until you get down to like when it looks like this. And then you actually start to see the changes. But I tried to focus more on all of the other non-skill victories or even like non-physical victories, because that really changes your life. Like, yeah, everyone wants to look good, but don't you want to feel good? Like what actually matters to you? Don't you want to feel good? Don't you want to, like the way I look at things in my own life, it's like, what do I want to be like when I'm 60, 70, 80, 90 years old? Like, do I want to be in a nursing home, or do I want to be playing with my grandkids and being able to do whatever the hell I want to do? So many people, and these habits are built right now. Like I'm 30 years old, like I have a long way to go. But these habits are built now, because if I don't build them now when I'm 30, when it's arguably the easiest it'll be, I'm not going to build it when I'm 50. I'm not going to want to as much as I am now. Like today's the youngest you'll ever be. So do it now. It's the best. So, 'cause then you get to reap those rewards sooner than waiting and waiting and waiting. 'Cause that's another mindset thing. People keep waiting and putting things off as if we have unlimited time, but we don't.
Someone, my buddy posted something that said, time is the only resource you will never get.
Money.
Get back.
People love, focusing on money, but money, we make more money, we spend money, we don't really, there's no limited amount of money. It's unlimited. Like you make more, you spend more, whatever. But time, once it passes, it never comes back. That's something that when I was 23, I think that's when I struggled the most in my life. I think that was the time that I was the most depressed. I was, doing the ultrasound thing. And that fuels my purpose for this and my passion for this is I wasted my 23rd year of my life not living the way I wanted to live. And I could have continued to do that. Like I could have been struggling for the last 7 years, but thankfully I met DJ, and like the people you surround yourself with matters so much more than people realize. Like if you're hanging around a bunch of losers, you're going to be a fucking loser. Unfortunately.
No, that's the truth. You
Yes.
are who you surround yourself with. They say if you put yourself in a room with 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth.
Exactly.
If you put yourself in a room full of 5 alcoholics,
You'll be the sixth.
You'll be the sixth.
Yes.
Like influence is huge. You mentioned a few things. We just did the Can-Am Games in Butler, which is like a LEO and fire, like almost Olympics with every sport and stuff. And there was this 10K run where this dude who was like 70 took first place. And you see that and you're like, man,
That's amazing.
how is he doing that? Like he beat, now there was an age bracket, but the open was like 50. So 50 to, how did he beat everyone else? Well, you start to talk to that man and he'll probably tell you, he runs every day. He's run every day.
Get him on the podcast.
If I find him, I'll hunt him down. Background. No.
Yes.
But like people want to be healthy when they're older. They don't want to.
They want to, but are they willing?
But are you willing to do things now?
In the work, of course, yeah. And like I said, I don't want it to sound like I wouldn't do it if I was 50, because again, it's better than if you start when you're 50. It's better than waiting till you're 51, and it's better than waiting till you're 61. Like it's better to start than it is to not. But like you can start sooner.
That's my whole thing with jiu-jitsu, right? I started 4 years ago. I was 26. That's 20. No, my math. Yeah, 26. I was like, damn, I'm mad. I started when I was 26, right? And I see these kids, 18, 19, blue belts. I'm like, how the fuck are they blue belts? Like, I'm now starting. I'm 31, 31 with a blue belt. And then I see, same thing, these kids. I'm like, man, I wish I would have started soon. But like when I was 26, I made that decision.
Yep.
But then on the same token, I see guys coming in who are 40 starting.
And they see you and they say the same thing. That's comparison is one of the biggest things also with mindset. People compare themselves to other people. And sometimes I think about this when I post before and after pictures, because I don't want other people to feel bad. Like even my clients, it's like, well, we started the same time, but she looks way different than I do. And it's like, everyone's on their own path. It doesn't matter what this person's doing or what this person's doing. Like it literally doesn't matter, but we make it matter in our minds.
Well, it's all mindset. Like
Yes.
I view it now because I spoke with one of my coaches, Mike Wilkins, shout out Mike Wilkins. And in my mind, I was like, dude, like, I'm fucking 31. I've been a blue belt for 2-3 years. I fucking suck. And he looked at me. He's like, and it's always an outside perspective that kind of helps. And he's like, no, like when you walked in, like, would you beat that dude? And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I'd fucking destroy him. He's like, you've progressed. But in my mind, I was looking at like another kid, Christian Schaefer. He was fun. He was like 18, 19, tapping out brown belts, black belts. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, this fucking kid is like a beast. And I'm looking at myself. I'm like, I can't tap out people like that. And I'm start comparing. But now my mindset is like, I see this kid and I'm like, oh, dude,
good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Yes.
I'm at that point for someone now. I got to push.
I wasn't like that before. I would be envious and jealous and let it eat me from like just eat at me. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, good for you. Like, this person is showing you what is possible. Like, if someone has success in their fitness journey, someone loses 100 pounds, like, and you've only lost 2, good for them. Be happy for them. Like, they're showing you what is literally possible if you stick with this and you put in the work.
It's perspective.
Yes.
You can look at the same person and go, fuck, I suck. Why? Or you can go, yo, that's dope. I'm going to use that for fuel.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I try to take from everything. Like, that's why this podcast is a thing. Like, you guys have amazing stories. I'm fucking stealing them. I'm using it as motivation, fuel, discipline. Like, my next conversation, discipline muscle. Guarantee that fucking comes up. Like, I am sharpening my sword with every conversation, with everything I see, with everything I encounter. And there's no better place to build that discipline. I've talked about this a few times. The gym and your fitness journey and health journey is one of the best and easiest places to shape discipline. You know, another one is like military. That's a hard fucking, like, that's tough. You go in there, you can't quit. Like, you're forced to build your discipline muscle.
Or you have someone yelling in your face if
like,
you're not.
You're forced to do it. You know, law enforcement, fire, all these other like things that you're not responsible for communities. Like, that's ways to do it because you have no choice. The fitness, like, you can choose to go in there. You can choose to lift. You can choose to go on your days that you're not feeling your best. Like, you can choose to build your discipline muscle. Where else can you do it? Fighting. Like, I interview a lot of fighters. Another good place to fuel your discipline muscle. Are you going to go to training today? Do you want to get punched today? No. Are you going to go in? Well, yeah, because I have a fight coming up. If you don't, you risk getting your ass beat.
Yep.
You know, like the gym is, you go in and you can choose to work hard. You can choose to take off. You can choose to scroll on your phone. You can choose to text.
But if you're choosing one thing, you have to understand you're also choosing something else. So if I choose to not go to the gym, I'm choosing to be unhealthy and undisciplined and a bunch of other things that come with that. If I continue to let myself skip the gym, of course.
I don't want to be unhealthy though.
Yes, exactly.
Like, what do I do?
Choose to go to the gym even when you don't want to, even if you don't feel like it. Like, we don't feel like it most times. Do you feel like going? Especially you go in the morning. I don't go that early, but I go at like 8 a.m. and I don't feel like it sometimes, but I do it anyway.
Well, that's the thing. People are like, oh, I can't go at 4:30. Okay. That's what works for me.
Yeah.
Go at 8.
Yeah. Whatever.
Go after work.
Yes. And you can go. You're choosing not to go. And like, identity is it's so crazy how it changes your life. Like, I'm not a morning person. Saying that makes you have the actions that align with not being a morning person. So like, if you say, I'm not a morning person, I'm lazy, I'm fat, I'm always late, you're going to make sure that your actions align with that. So if I'm just always late, you're going to show up late all the time. And I used to be that person, but
That's
hey, I was early and we started right on time.
11 on the dot.
We did. And I've changed that about me because like, I'm not that. And I caught someone in the gym the other day. She said, I'm an overthinker, which a lot of people can relate to that. And it's funny because she came up to me. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt like I was rude. I didn't even think twice about it. Like, she's so sweet. And she's like, you said, hey, how are you? And I didn't answer the how are you part. And I was like, Chris, I didn't even think twice about that. Like, it didn't even cross my mind. She's like, I didn't want you to think I was rude. I was like, were you like thinking about this for a while? She's like, yeah, I'm an overthinker. And I said that. I was like, I had to say something to her because it's like, if I can impact somebody from like one small little conversation we had. So I was like, no, you're not an overthinker. You have to change that in your head. Like, you have overthinking tendencies, but you yourself are not an overthinker. You have to believe that you're not, or you're never going to change. If you always said, I'm not a morning person, you wouldn't get up at the time you did. The same, I can't work out after work. I'm tired. I can't do this. I can't do that. your identity will align with that. I'm fat. You're going to have habits that a quote unquote fat person would have. Like you're not going to go to the gym, or you're going to quit, or you're not going to choose healthy options when you go out to eat. Like, yeah, I could go off on that.
That you make a great point. Cause y'all probably think I scroll a lot. I really don't. But like we can pull motivation off social media. I saw this post where someone was talking about that identity thing, and he's like, oh, I can't trust anyone. And he's like, oh, I have trust issues. And they're like, no, people have broken your trust, and you trust your feeling of not trusting people. You trust it so much. So it's not that you can't trust. It's that you're choosing not to trust, but you trust the feeling of not trusting. And the first time I watched it, I was mindfuck. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude saying? And then I like started thinking about it. I'm like, no, that makes so much sense. Like, it's not that you can't trust and won't trust. You're choosing not to trust because your trust has been violated.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm like, damn. But the same thing with, I'm an overthinker.
I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I'm an anxious person. It's like, yeah, you struggle with anxiety. And some people, that's a touchy topic, but like you don't have to align with things that you are choosing to align with if they don't serve you. Like saying you're an overthinker, if you don't want to say that, you don't have to. Like your words matter. The words to yourself matter. That's why negative self-talk, like I'm big on that too, because people just go on and on about how shitty they are and how they suck.
I think it all comes down to comfortability. I'm an overthinker. I'm comfortable with the fact that I'm an overthinker. So when I say things, I've accepted it. It's comfortable for me. Knowing that about yourself and choosing not to, and I get it. Like a lot of stuff is chemical, and there's a lot of things.
But overthinking, for example, or like.
But you can like you're aware of it.
Yes.
So if you check it once, twice, 4 times, you're not gonna check it every time. Oh, I'm overthinking. Let me stop. Boom. We're not robots. But if it's in your mind that you're an overthinker, and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't say, and you're like, no, you're fine. You go, in your mind, hey, I have a tendency to overthink. Yep. I just did it.
Yeah, it's just like there I go again. There I go again. Like, overthinking.
Okay. Oh, we're good then. Thanks.
Yep.
Boom, right there. And then those little voices in your head, man, is she really upset? Is she really quiet?
The girl that I was talking to about overthinking, she said, yeah, when I catch myself doing that, I say switch. So she switches her thought to something else. And I think that's so powerful.
Oh,
it's good. Like 1, being aware that it's happening, and 2, being able to switch your thought to something or contradicting what you're saying in your head. So it's like a good one to use is I'm fat. I'm a fat person. And then it's, okay, well, switch that thought. No, I'm not fat. I'm not where I want to be, but I am taking action every day to improve this thing in my life. I'm, eating healthy, and like thinking of that and like, okay, taking something that was negative and turning it into a positive. And I think the way to think about identity, I like thinking of it as a thermostat. So your thermostat is set to 70, we'll say, and
68.
Okay, 60.
70's wild.
64 when we're sleeping.
Yes, okay. We're on to something.
I'm always cold, but whatever. So if your thermostat, your identity is set to 68, and let's say your identity is you're fat, you start to have healthy habits, you start to make that change. Your identity is that thermostat that's pulling it back to 68. You changing it's bumping it up to 69, 70, 71. Your identity wants to pull it back to go back to that 68 because that's what it knows. That's what it's comfortable. It's that homeostasis. So you start to stray from that. Your mindset, your body, everything. It's like, no, this isn't who we are. So it's really freaking hard to work on your identity. It's easy to just say, well, don't say I'm a fat person or whatever. But it's so hard to actually believe that and switch your thoughts. It takes so much work.
That's actually a very digestible way to put it. Like, this is what I'm set to. Anything that strays out of that, no, I got to come back. This is where I'm set to.
Like you waking up, it's like, this is who I am. Like you have those thoughts, like that's not me. This is who I am. I'm a person that wakes up at the ass crack of dawn. I don't know what time you said, really early.
4 to 4:30. If I'm feeling crazy, 4.
What time do you go to sleep?
Like 11 or 12. What I do is not recommended by any means. But I like that thermostat because on the same token, I want to be at 74. What do I got to do to be at 74? I got to crank this bitch up, right?
Yep.
So the environment right now is at 68. I want to be at 74. I got to take action to get to 74. So these are I need to increase this or do this.
Yep. And your body's going to want, your mind's going to want to keep you at
your
68.
Environment's like, no,
yes.
68, 68,
Yes.
68. Your mind, your actions, your what you're doing, you're building that discipline muscle to push to 74.
Yep. This isn't who I am anymore. This isn't who I am anymore. Like, oh, I'm going to skip the gym. Nope, that's not who I am anymore. And you have
That's 68 behavior. We want 74
Yes,
behavior.
yes.
Dude, that is a perfect way to put. She's dropping bombs.
Let's go.
Flex time.
Look at this.
Look at me. What is the impact of all this stuff we're talking about, right? We're practicing on this. Like, how can this impact the community in your opinion?
Meaning what? Like the mindset?
I believe if you are healthier, if you work out, if you do hard things often, like you mentioned earlier, now that rubs off on your family, your kids, your children. Now it rubs off on their friends, their coworkers, their classmates, rubs off on, like, it's a trickling effect. And if everyone, this is, now we're talking extreme, if every single person embodied that, this world would not look like how it looks like today.
No, I actually saw a statistic. It said by the year 2030, 1 in 2 people will be obese. And then 1 in 4 people will be severely obese, which is crazy. Because like you were talking about earlier, like it's easier now than ever. Like we have the internet, we have ChatGPT, we have all of these things. Like write me a meal plan, write me a workout plan, whatever. Like it's all at our fingertips. And we are more unhealthy and more obese, more overweight than we ever have been. And that's crazy to me. But yeah, I think the biggest thing, going back to your question, is being that role model, being that example, especially for your kids, especially for your friends. Like be that person in somebody's life. You have to embody that, because I don't know about you, but what my parents told me to do is different than what I would see them do. So like, they didn't work out. My parents weren't healthy. Like now they go to the gym, which I'm so grateful for.
It's that.
Yes.
Influence.
Yes. Oh yeah. 100%. Like I know they would not if I didn't take this path in life. Like they wouldn't be working out. I can guarantee that. But you have to embody those traits that you want other people to have. Like if you want people to be more honest around you, you have to be honest with people. If you want people to be healthier, if you want your kids to be healthy, you can't just tell them to be healthy. You have to actually put in the work and do that. They'll see that and they'll know that. Like if you don't want your kids to drink and, struggle with alcoholism, you can't drink all the time. Like it just doesn't make sense. They see what you're doing and they're like, it's contradicting. Like, don't do this, but I'm doing it every night. So it's like, it's confusing.
Do as I say and not as I do.
Exactly. Yes.
No, that makes sense. Cause like, let's talk life. My role model growing up was my brother. He wasn't making the best decisions. Now, granted, he always told me, hey, just do what I say. Don't do what I do. I have to do this. You don't have to. But like,
but he's a cool older brother.
Yeah, that's who I want to be like.
Yes.
So I'm going to model your behavior.
Of course. Yep.
It's the same thing on the opposite end. If you're like, you can't tell your kids no snacking after 9, it's bad for you.
And then you're sitting there on the couch with some chips
but it's something so small. Or like, hey, I don't want you on your device. I don't want you on the iPad. You're an iPad kid. And then when the kid's talking to you, all you're doing is scrolling. No, that model behavior. Fuck. Dude, you're dropping bombs. And it's crazy that like you can get all this from fitness. Like if
I was not this person, like I
you
don't
were
know
a
if you knew
total
me.
fucking batch before. No, I'm kidding.
I don't remember when we met. I don't know how old I was. What year would that have been?
I met DJ 2015.
Okay.
So I was here first. I just want to.
We were like dating in 2015.
Were you though?
Yeah.
You said we were like dating.
We were. I mean, I don't know
me
if we
and
were
him
official.
We were a thing in 2015.
I don't know if we ever made it official. I feel like we just were dating or not even dating. We were just living together and then we got engaged. Because I don't know if we ever had like an official day.
Will you be my girlfriend? That conversation.
Yes. Will you be my girlfriend?
Be my girlfriend. So yeah, no. I mean, it's been over 10 years for sure. No, it's about 10 years. No, because I feel
obstacle course race days.
Yeah, like I think I've known DJ probably a smidget before I knew you. I think it was around the same time.
You were the
My
best
sister.
MC.
Yeah, well, that's arguable. Now I'm fucking on podcast talking shit. So
Yeah.
maybe that's something to do with it.
Yes.
What are some obstacles you face with your clients, and how do you push through that? Like you personally, not with your clients, but like maybe you're not seeing, you have a certain vision for this client, and you know, she's not listening, or she's not embodying what she's supposed to be. So she's not getting the results. So now she's like, you're not a good, like, have you had anyone like, you're not a good coach, or because of their behavior? Like when you hear that, how does that affect you?
I don't know if I'm sure people have said it, like, if you're not putting in the work, and especially, again, mindset, it's like, if you have that victim mentality, you're more likely to blame other people. When it all comes down to you, like, I can't blame any of the coaches I've had in the past, because, again, it all comes down to me. Like, I'm the one who has to put me first. Like, you can hire a coach, but, again, a coach can't eat for you. A coach can't work out for you. Like, you still have to put in the work. So I don't know if I've had somebody say, like, you're a bad coach per se, but maybe behind my back. If someone were to say that to my face, I feel like it would be upsetting, of course. But I've had so many people tell me that I've changed their lives that, like, I have to get myself in check and be like, no, like, I'm not a bad coach. Maybe this person had a bad experience, and I check myself, like, okay, maybe I wasn't giving this person what they needed, or they had different expectations, and that's on me to, like, diffuse that situation. But struggles with clients not listening and stuff, I feel like you have to be very real with them, and you can't beat around the bush. Like, you have to say, look, the way that you're eating is not going to get you the results that you want. Like, a good example, and this is kind of backwards, like, people will eat very, very little, and they think that they need to eat this way, like 1,200 calories or less. And it's like, hey, you don't have to eat like this. You're actually doing more harm than good. And I have to tell them that, because it happens so often. Like, you wouldn't believe how much it happens. It happens more than people overeating, I feel like. But they don't realize, like, they're destroying their metabolism. They're miserable while they're doing it. Like, and if you can't continue to do what you're doing long term, you're not gonna see those results long term, because you're gonna lose a bunch of weight because you're eating very little, but you're gonna think, wow, this sucks and I can't maintain this, and you're gonna gain it back, and you're not gonna know how to keep those results, because people don't have an issue losing weight. They have an issue maintaining that weight that they've lost, typically.
Yeah, no. It makes sense. You mentioned a couple of things, and I'd like to segue into, because like you kind of pride yourself. Your whole mantra is like, hey, I can get you the results, and then you're still using fun foods, right? Mm-hmm. But people look at that and they're like, you know, you see some trainers like, you must keto diet, and we're gonna get into like the fads of fitness, mm-hmm. But you know, no, you must keto diet. You got to eliminate all sugar, all this. And like, I like your approach of like, because you get to pull more women in, mm-hmm. more women are apt to come and be like, okay, it's going to be a gradual change. I don't have to go in and like be in boot camp mode.
Yes.
Which I think pushes a lot of people out of this industry. We see a lot of these influencers who are like, you got to be this, like, mm-hmm. Goggins. Yes. Love the dude. Like, I embody some of his mindset, mm-hmm. but like, I will never be Goggins. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to be real. He'll tell you could be anything you want to be. It's like, well,
and what's success in your eyes is different than what success is in his eyes.
So like, you incorporate like gradual changes, mm-hmm. digestible, no pun intended, digestible changes. I'm on it. MC,
yeah, you are.
MC-ish. No, but so how do you balance someone's journey to lose weight while still incorporating these quote unquote fun foods to help them do a gradual change rather than a drastic change that they're most likely not mm-hmm. able to maintain?
Yeah, and they think that's what they need to do. And I love that you say fun foods, because I don't call foods bad, good, or I try not to. Cheat meals, I hate that. Like, treat. I usually say treat, just because if you're having something that's a cheat meal, like, cheating's not good, or bad food. No, it's like, yeah. So it's like, I'm having this, I should feel guilty for this. Like, I need to feel guilty for having a burger or, you know, a donut or something.
Whoa. We can have burgers or donuts in fitness?
I had a burger last night.
I'm a burger connoisseur, and everyone knows donuts are kind of my thing. But
I mean, yeah, we know-ish.
Why'd you look at my stomach? And why'd you mention piñata earlier? Huh? Are these subliminal digs?
Maybe. Hey, I don't know. Hey,
Jeez.
that's up for you and
I'm
your
not
mindset to decipher
I'm not
what's going
airing
on.
this episode. No, I'm kidding.
Whatever.
She's like, so you begged me to come on. But like these fun foods, that's also goes to
Yes.
the mindset thing. Like now you're feeling guilty for eating a bad food or a cheat meal.
Yes. Or
Fun
just
food.
you're living your life. So I think I love the 80-20 rule. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I like it just because you can balance having food in your body that makes you feel good, gives you energy, helps you live a long life, because you can lose weight without eating healthy foods. Like you can eat McDonald's every day and lose weight. You just have to be in a calorie deficit. You're going to feel like shit and you're not going to be healthy. So if you value being healthy, looking good and feeling good, those are like my top three. I want to look good, I want to feel good, and I want to be healthy. That's my goal. And
the triangle.
yes. And usually like all of my other little goals fall under those three things. But yeah, there's a balance. So like 80-20. So like you still get the benefits of feeling good, having energy by eating 80% real food, real clean food, food from animals or the earth. And then 20% of the time, eat whatever the hell you want, whatever you enjoy. So if it's donuts and
Why you keep looking at my damn stuff?
I'm kidding.
I'm slimming.
I know. Hey, Ish looks good. He looks okay.
Fuck me.
Hey, you can bench 405. That's
That
impressive.
matters. It's 435.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
excuse me.
Donuts.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. It's not
Fueled by
attributed to-
donuts. No, but yeah, 80% of the time. Like, what's your diet look like? What's your diet look like?
I eat earth and animals.
Yeah, no, but like, would you say it's 80-20? Like,
It's funny. I saw one of your posts a long time ago about that, and I started doing that, and I feel better, and like I have a lot of stomach issues, and I hid under that. Well, a lot of that's attributed to the diet that I was
Yeah.
consuming. Like when I was here, I was dirty bulking. You know the stuff it was
Yeah.
not recommended. I'm like, oh, I have stomach issues. Oh yeah, no shit. I was eating processed foods, overeating, eating fast. Like these are little things people don't realize. Like the faster you eat, you're taking in more air, you get gassy, that starts creating pressure. And
Yep.
so, yeah.
then you be shitting and farting, and it's not good.
Air this bitch out real quick.
Yes.
But I would say, yeah, more, especially like even like I eat out a lot, but I'm more conscious on what I try to eat.
Yeah.
So like where I would go out and splurge on, oh, this picture looks, I order by pictures, by the way. This picture looks fascinating. You know, I'd be like, hey, I'll get the cheeseburger,
Yeah.
no bacon, and can I get a lettuce wrap? Like
Yeah.
stupid little things like that. And what people don't realize is you mentioned like monitoring your food. People automatically think, oh, I need a food tracker app. I need this. And I'll tell people this because this is how I started. This is what works for me. If you simply look at the supplement facts of what you're eating, you have a goal. I want to have, for me, 3,500 calories. You look at the supplement. Is that going to put me at 35? First, what's in here? I can't pronounce that. Ooh, let me avoid this one. Something simple and so small like that, and getting something else going, oh, this is, just, okay, 3 ingredients. Oh, this many calories. Oh, I can do this. And I track just calories right now.
Yeah. But it's important to know how many calories you need, like, first, because a lot of people, they'll use, like, you know, MyFitnessPal to tell them how many calories you need to be eating, and it's super low because I think with those apps, you put in what date you want to reach your goal by, and it'll tell you whatever. It'll tell you 900 calories because let's say, you know, we always want to hit our goal, like, in 2 weeks. So we'll put something like 2 weeks, a month out, and it's telling you need to eat 800 calories. You're like, okay, I can do this for like a month or whatever, lose the weight. But then
You lose your drive, your energy.
yeah, and it sucks. It just sucks.
But it's a simple start monitoring that way. Like, because
Yes.
we see someone like you probably monitor macros, micros, all, but like someone who isn't in this or starting their journey, they see that it's intimidating. But
Yes.
that's not what you're asking. Like, simply looking at the package and the supplement facts, that will change your health, your behavior. It's not going to be a
Yes.
drastic change, but it's a small change, and you'll see small increases in how you look, how you feel. And then once you've done that, you've established that discipline, you've built that discipline muscle. Now you start, well, how many carbs should I be eating? How much fat should I be intaking? What's my Then you dive in, and next thing you know, you're Coach Megan 5 years into her journey, and you're holding up fat blobs and muscle blobs and this, and
Yep.
But like that is gradual. It's the same thing. I go to the gym. I didn't bench 435 my first day at the gym.
No.
And I can't tell you how I got there. I just 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds. I was like, man, I can't get it. And then one day I get it. And I'm like, wow, this has been like a 13-year journey.
Exactly.
And I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, my shoulders are looking okay. But when did that happen? You can't point to a specific date.
It was the accumulation of all of the days that you showed up.
Yeah, it's like the tissue. You lift hard, you go home, you look in the mirror, no change.
Nothing.
The next day, no change. 3 months, if you do that every day, you're not going to see a change. But if you see a picture of the first day and 3 or 4 months in, there's going to be a drastic change. But you don't see that change as it's happening.
Nope.
It's the same with you pulling the little tissue. Like, it's the same with how you track your diets. It's the same with how you build your discipline muscle. You do, if you're in an office building, so tempting to take the elevator, take the stairs one day. It's hard.
It's different. That's not your identity. It's different.
It's different. It's hard. It's a small change that probably won't phase you much. Like, oh, I'm gonna save 30 seconds by taking the elevator. But you're building that discipline muscle. You're burning extra calories. It changes
this more than anything. Like, yeah, you'll burn an extra, I don't know how many calories. Not a significant amount, but you keep doing that and you try to look for ways that you can park further away. And on my lunch break, I'm going to take a couple laps around the building. Like, that adds up. But like, you doing that once won't make as much of a difference than it will on your mental, your mentality on it, because it's like, okay, I did something that was hard, something that wasn't normal. It's not comfortable for me, but I did it. And you build that discipline muscle and build that up.
If you throw a grain of sand into a pool, does the water rise?
No.
Technically, it does.
Well, okay, I guess. Yeah.
But if you look at it, you're like, that grain of sand was nothing.
Yeah.
But if you throw a grain of sand for 1,000 years, that pool's going to be filled.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Did you just make that shit up?
I just did, because I was thinking, like, what's something small you can put in something big that appears to no change, but actually has a change. I thought sand in a pool. I don't know. I was going to say sand in an ocean, but I was like, that's going to be millions of years.
Yes.
But it's something like that. Like, you do something small. You take the stairs today, then you park further tomorrow. You're building these grains of sand.
Like, look for ways that you can do it rather than like, what's the easiest thing that I can do? It's like, let me take an extra lap around the grocery store. Like, things that just are weird, but like, they matter.
Yeah, you build those little disciplines, and next thing you know, you're David Goggins running 100 miles on a broken foot. Duh. One thing I did want to talk with you is like the trends of fitness, because if you're starting off, first thing we're doing is searching the internet. Like, instead of going to an expert, we're searching the internet because we know better. We know better than everyone. And then you see like, oh, if you want to lose weight, keto diet. And then you see another article, keto diet's horrible for you. And you're like, fuck, which one do I do? Or my favorite, if you want to build muscle, 6 to 8 reps. If you want to burn fat, 10 to 12 reps. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
one.
light weights, more reps to tone.
Yeah, I believe that for the longest though. Like, I mean, everything has a place, but it's all about the plan you build. Like, not about the rep range. It's about the plan you build.
Yeah.
And rep range does matter in certain instances because it affects your muscles differently, but in and of itself, it's not much. Like, what are some of the fitness fads that you see now that you're just like, as a coach, as an expert, you're like, you're making us look bad?
Well, obviously, like keto, I'm not a fan of. Weight Watchers, made up point system. Like, why have this made up point system when we can just learn about calories and what our body actually knows, macros? The one that I hate is Optavia. I think that's how you say it. Optavia. They have women eating less than 1,000 calories, and they have them buying their shitty food that doesn't taste good. I don't know what all's in it. But it is like $600 a month, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's so expensive, and they're starving. So like, of course they're going to see amazing results, and they're recommended to not work out. And that's how they get people, because it's like, oh, you don't have to work out with this and you're going to lose a lot of weight. But people don't realize that it's also muscle, and they're completely fucking themselves in the future, because muscle is so important to have, and it is so...
You said they're getting excellent results. I want to
losing
challenge
weight.
that. They're losing a lot of weight.
Yes.
But the results are not excellent.
No.
Because there are stuff like that I've seen where I'm like, people want to lose weight, right? When in reality, and not DJ, I fucking lost the name again.
Geo?
Oh my god, this happened. This happened on the last episode, so they can't blame me. It happens with everyone. So Geo did this presentation at a school, I think it was, where he talked about the why and dove in. It's like, I want to lose weight. Why?
Why is so important.
Why?
Yes.
And like he got so deep to the point of like, it's like image, right? Which that like we'd be lying if we said image doesn't matter. Like it matters. You want to look, like looking good is a side effect of all the hard work you're doing. You're building discipline, you're increasing your health, you're feeling better, you're getting energy, and you just happen to look good as you're doing it because that's a side effect. But people say, I want to lose weight. Why? Because I want to look good. Well, losing weight isn't going to get you the appearance you want. And I've spoken with a few people and they go, I want to lose weight. And then they show me a picture of a dude and I'm like, that dude is fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Like he's smaller than you, but he's also ripped. Like you're not going to get that appearance simply losing weight. So if your goal is to simply lose weight, you can starve yourself and you'll lose weight.
Yep.
But you're not going to get the image you have in your head. And I think a lot of these companies, and I won't name names because I ain't trying to get canceled. I'm so fucking new. But there's a lot of companies that prey on women specifically, and they know what women want, and they know it's not simply to lose weight. And like you mentioned earlier, well, if you work out, you get bulky.
So tone is a big word. And I use it too because I know it used to bother me and I used to like correct people, but it's like, I know what you mean. When you say tone, I know you want to like have defined muscles. Like I know what you mean, but like I use the same language as what they're using because I know what, I don't need to correct them. Like, well, it's not actually toning.
No,
like
I get
you want to
you.
build muscle, but like, yeah, they want to look toned. They don't want to be skinny fat.
Yeah, and then so these companies prey on these women and they offer a easy solution, which anything worthwhile will probably not be easy. So we're going to offer an easy solution. And I'm going to play devil's advocate because I do believe there's a place for that so long as you're not giving the wrong messaging.
If you want to stay unhealthy and unfit forever, keep looking for quick, easy, and cheap.
Yeah. So they offer this to women and to inexperienced people, and then they do it, and they're like, well, what now? Like, I want to lose more weight. I want to lose more weight because I'm not seeing the tone. But like now, and then they start pushing them to the other extreme.
Yep.
Where, and then like companies that use the image, like, oh, we can get you skinny, you're going to lose weight. No, you don't have to work out. Like, come on. Now we're diving into the realm of predatory marketing.
And why, like, working out isn't just to change your appearance. Like, you know that it's so much more than just that. Like, it does wonders for your mental health, like the stress relief you get from it, the health benefits. Like, it's not just to look good.
Yeah, it's the difference of being able to hold your grandkids at 70 and play sports with them and go on walks with them, or being pushed in a wheelchair. And I get it, there's other health factors that involve in that, but a generally health person, you're going to deteriorate if you're not using it. Like, our bodies are it's a grouping of energy, you know, like it's one big ball of energy, and energy, it wants to be moving. If you don't use it, you lose it, for lack of better terms. So if you're not doing the things you need to now, you're probably not going to do it later. So then you deteriorate. If you're doing it now, you're more likely to continue doing it. And that's the difference of you being able to hold your grandkids while your children are walking down the aisle, or you guys are,
you're just going to be in pain and sitting in a chair like the rest of your life when you're older. It's like, people don't think about that. I actually, we were golfing yesterday, and I always love to just like bring up fitness to people, but I saw somebody that, I don't know how we got talking. I don't know, just a couple ladies just starting conversation with them, and we got talking about lifting. She said she had shoulder surgery recently, and I asked her, "Oh, do you lift weights?" And she's like, "No," like kind of like, ugh. Yeah, like no,
brother,
brother, no weights, what? But it's so crazy how people, like, there's just so many people that aren't doing it. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, you just had shoulder surgery. It's been a while now, maybe like a year or so ago. I forget when she said, but you're not keeping your muscles strong. Like, do you want issues later. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't do it.
Because this perception of you are going to look like me if you go in there.
Yeah.
And I get offended by that because, and like,
yeah,
no,
like it's hard.
I'm like, you know how fucking hard I've worked?
13 years or whatever.
You're going to build muscle by accident?
Yeah. I used to be those people, and one of those people, so like I can't talk too much shit, but like now
no, but
it's
you can
like,
because I like that you've been able to like grow.
Yes.
And if you can't see both sides of the token, who are you to give anyone advice?
yeah.
You know, like I think it's, and it works for me in law enforcement too. Like I was on the other side and now I'm in law enforcement. I can see both sides of the coin. And I sympathize with both sides. Mm-hmm. Where if you grow up in a family of law enforcement, you've never had any, it's going to be hard for you to sympathize with these people over here. And if you grew up in the hood like I did, in the mix or whatever, it's going to be hard for you to sympathize with a cop who got shot. Like, oh, fuck that dude. It's like, that's someone's father. That's someone's like husband.
I feel like you have to keep such an open mind. Like even political stuff. It's like, okay, I see where I'm coming, but I'm willing to hear out why you believe that this candidate's better, or like what makes you want to vote for this person or whatever. Like I'm not going to be like, oh, like you vote for this person. Like, ugh, I'm not even going to hear what you have to say, which some people are like that. And it's like, try to just keep an open mind and just hear where people are coming from. And
that you will be so successful in life if you're able to do that.
I'm empathetic as fuck. Like I'm so empathetic.
Yo, I'm empathetic as fuck.
I really like to a fault. Like
Emp as fuck. That has to be a t-shirt.
Yes, but like I can empathize with people a lot. Like I'm a very emotional person, and like I'd like to see it from both sides typically.
Oh, same. And I like people who don't understand knock me like, how the fuck are you talking to this person? Like I'm like, what do you mean? I used to be that person. So what are you trying to say? Oh, no, I'm not trying to say. No, now you can offend them, but like, no, you don't want to offend me. But if you can approach that with anything, you're going to be more knowledgeable, more educated, and more empathetic, and you're probably going to have better relationships overall, especially with the political stuff. I'll sit down and talk with anybody. Like, if I don't have expertise in the field, I'm not going to offer my opinion. And I love when people like, oh, well, what's your opinion on this? Why does it matter to you?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in this field.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I can tell you how I feel because it's impacted me, but I'm not going to break down this. Like I'm not an expert in this field. Or why do you, like, I love people like, dude, your bench, why are you putting 5s on? Because that's what's worked for me.
Yeah.
Well, what's the science behind it? I don't fucking know the science. behind it.
I don't need to know the science.
I'm not trying to be an expert in this field. Like you ask me what I do.
Yeah.
I tell you, and now you're pushing down my throat that what I'm doing is wrong.
Yeah, motherfucker, I bench 435.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt too. Yes. But like we have become this society that we can't talk, we can't have discourse because we disagree. Yeah.
And we're just becoming more disconnected because we are more connected online.
And you know where that stem? You know where a big impact of that is? The fitness industry. Like, how much shit do you get? And maybe it not be, but and I don't want to get into like sexism, but like being a female coach. Like, do you get shit? Because I see comments online of people like, what the fuck does she know? It's like, what do you mean? What does she know? Like, she's embodying it, she's living it. And I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking like,
and like helping other people. That's what I don't understand. It's like, you're helping other people, why are you like tearing this person down? I don't know, I don't really get those comments.
But do you see it in the industry?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
in general?
I'm sure.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah, and I'm sure people do it, and they just, the people that are talking shit aren't always posting online, obviously. But yeah, it's like, I'm a big manly man. Like, I'm not gonna have this little girl tell me, you know, how to lift weights or whatever. But there's like so many guys that I see with terrible form in the gym, and men are the ones that typically won't ask for help. That's just typically how it goes, typically. But women are more likely.
You keep giving me this thing like I if I need help, I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, exactly. But some, like, I would say, if I had to guess what sex would not ask for help, it would be men typically. And there's women that don't ask for help too.
We don't need directions. We don't ask for directions.
Exactly. I know where I'm going. But
wait, where we at?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about.
So the men who don't want to, or like being a female in the coaching in the fitness industry. Yeah,
I'm sure there's people that don't take me serious, or other female coaches, but I'm gonna keep doing me. Like it doesn't affect me at all. Like,
but it goes, like I see it on social media. Like I want to get into like the impact of social media. Like social media can be beneficial. Online coaching, social media is huge. You're following. You've built a huge following. Past me on TikTok, but whatever. But your Instagram's huge. Like you've built a following because social media can be very beneficial. But on the same token, we also see the know-it-alls, the people who, like, one, I've never been one to comment unless it's something positive.
Yeah. The keyboard warriors.
Yeah,
Is that what
it's
they're
like,
called?
and I see, like, how many videos of people I see and they're like, fucking natural, and like, you're like, dude, I've been busting my ass for a very long time and I don't look.
But thank you.
I know it's not natural, but like, and then you get someone on the comments like, you're benching like this is wrong. This is how you should do it. It's like, what I want to ask those people, like, what did you gain from that comment?
Or are you okay?
Yeah, like what did you gain?
Are you okay? Like so that my perspective on that has changed a lot. I remember when I first went viral, my wall sit video, if you remember that, 2019.
Fake weights.
Yes.
Ain't that what?
Yes. So in 2019, I posted a wall sit video, and we were stacking rubber plates that have weight to them, like
bumper plates for those.
But
like, they're weighted.
Yeah, they're weighted. They're
bumper
not
plates.
They're not fake weights. And wall sit, like if you actually do a wall sit, like it's actually not that impressive, but it looks cool. So, we rolled with it. And a bunch of people immediately started commenting fake weights. She's using a green screen chair, all this stuff. And I was like getting offended. I was like, when I first started getting the comments, like it didn't go viral yet. And I'm like commenting back to people like, no, like it's not fake. Like I was actually like, it was ruining my day.
For yourself.
I noticed, I noticed that my mood, like it really affected me. And like, that was like the first time that I went viral, I think. And I started getting like, it wasn't even hate, but it was just like, no, like this is real. Like why, this isn't actually fake. I know.
Then DJ like handstand.
Yeah, he did a handstand at the end. So the hate used to really get to me. And I have gotten hate on other videos. I posted a video of me like doing a little selfie video in the mirror, and there are people behind me in the gym, and it was like, this is a reminder that people actually don't give a shit about you in the gym, which is like really freeing. Like, we think we walk in the gym and everyone's gonna be staring at us, but nobody actually gives a shit. Like, we're all focused on ourselves typically. And then if somebody does care about you, someone does comment that negative comment on your video, that says more about them. Like, they're not okay. Like, they hate their life and they hate themselves to where they need to say something to you to make themselves feel better. So I feel sorry for those people. Like, I stop letting it bother me, and it's like, damn, like, and sometimes I'll feel a little spicy and I'll comment back because it's like, fuck you, dude. But like,
gotta let them know.
Like, like,
what did Will Ferrell say? Don't play no shit.
Yeah, I'm not taking no shit. But like, when I do that, like when I am taking the time to comment to those people, it's just so mentally draining because like I'm not naturally mean. Like, I'm not a mean person. So like, to be negative, I mean, to you I am, but.
Okay, caveat.
Oh my God, shut up.
We're gonna get fact checked on that one.
Yeah. I thought you said fat checked.
No, fact.
Fact checked.
Fact.
But yeah, like it was just so draining, and like it wasn't doing anything positive for my life. So like I stopped. But like, I'm not gonna say that I'll never comment to somebody's negative comment again, but like I could never imagine being the person that comments something negative on a video. Like, I really don't comment on a lot of people's stuff anyway, because it's like, why am I taking the time to scroll and comment? And like, I could be working on my life. So it's like, why am I going to take that extra time? But it just, I don't know, it's weird.
I heard this saying, it said, someone who's above you in life, in the journey, will never try to drag you down. It's always people below you trying to drag you down. And like, I think of that every time I'm like, I want to react to something. I'm like, no, they're so miserable with their situation right now that they're trying to, instead of meeting me where I'm at, that requires work, effort. They want to drag me down to their level.
The people that get it. Like, even you doing this podcast, like there's so many people that are probably listening or that aren't listening, and they want to start a podcast and they're so scared and they're in their head, and it's like, what's so-and-so going to think about me? And I give you a lot of credit for that, because you have all the equipment, you're doing it. You're on episode, what, 45?
You are 45.
45. Like,
That was 46.
You
45.
you took the time to do that. You got out of your comfort zone to do that because obviously it's not comfortable starting this.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I just did an episode where dude stood me up and I had to do it by myself because I was fucking like, man, this is miserable. This sucks. I'm like, dude, like,
And
show
you
must
did
go
it
on.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm
You
like, show
did
must
it
go on. And I
anyway.
like, it probably
Good for you.
sucked, but like, I did it. I sat down. I talked about updating.
Doesn't matter
like,
if it sucked. You still did it. And that's even telling people, I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago about social media and they aren't posting consistently when they need to be for their business. And there's something that's going on within them that they need to work on to be able to post, whether it's caring what people think or whatever. Like, again, you're going to suck. Like I have a post, I haven't posted it yet, about my very first post. Like, they're so bad. Like, some of them are just so embarrassing and cringy because I'll see them pop up on like my timeline thing, and it's just funny to make fun of yourself now because it's like, guess what, bitches, I fucking started and I'm consistent and I kept doing it and I kept doing it.
There's power to that, though.
Yeah,
There's
there
power.
is.
I delete mine personally. I look at them like, fuck that. I can't have this surfacing up. But yeah, mentioning the podcast, my first episode, I wanted to start a podcast for years, and I gave myself every excuse.
Yep.
And I gotta have podcast audio, gotta have the best mics. Saved up for the best mics. Got the best mics, right? I'm like, well, people love video, but we're in a video age. Like, I gotta have cameras, right? I'm like, man, cameras are expensive. Like, I was like, I gotta have the best cameras, and my circle I'm talking to, like, bro, iPhone has some of the best. Start with your iPhone.
Paralysis by analysis.
So that's literally what happened to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'll start with an iPhone. I was like, I'm gonna get a couple GoPros. Like, those are good quality, right? So I got GoPros, and I'm like, I don't have anything to talk about. But dude, all you do is talk. That is all you do is talk. And I'm like, but by myself, I can't.
Are people gonna listen to me? What if I sound stupid?
I'm telling myself that I'm not the best spoken. Like, my first language was Spanish. Like, my English is, it's better off now, but it was broken back then. And there'll be point in times where I'll say a word, I'm like, that's not what that means. And I'm like, fuck. Or I'll, I'm not the most well versed. You see these podcasts where everything's organized, and that's not me. I live in chaos. I'm comfort in chaos. That's like my motto. So I literally set up. I don't have a studio. I'm like, so I do it in my dining room, and I'm by myself. The lights are off. I got the lights because I had to get lights. I got all.
What made you finally start? What made you?
What finally started, I had a conversation with one of my buddies. He's like, bro, you're literally the person who tells everyone, just fucking do it. You've done it with everything in your life, and you're hung up on talking on a camera.
Practice what you motherfucking preach.
So, seriously, and I'm like, he checked the fuck out of me. I'm like, hold on.
He's right.
I'm like, dude, I'm scared to talk in front of a camera. So I fucking set everything up. I sat down.
Yeah, when you put it in perspective like that, I am scared to talk with this in front of my mouth, that camera.
I'm like, I feel so stupid. He's like, you don't want to do it. You have everything. You're sitting with everything. Fucking do it. And I'm like, wow, dude, excuses again. I don't really have a place to set up. He's like, you got a fucking house. Like that. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, dude. And I'm a dude, so I don't have shit on the wall. So I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I set up. I'm sitting there. I recorded the first episode 15 times.
Wanted it to be perfect.
I wanted it to be perfect. And finally, I sat down on the last one. I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Doesn't need to be perfect.
Fuck it. If no one listens to it, no one listens to it. If people do listen to it, they're listening to it because they like me.
Yeah.
And they like what I'm saying.
And it's a new podcast. No one's expecting it to be so perfect.
To be perfect at the start.
Yes.
Right? So I sit down, I record the last episode. I'm not even going to listen to it. Fucking type up the description. I schedule it for the first Sunday. That's when it's going to drop. And I'm like, whatever fucking happens, happens.
What's your friend's name that asked you that or told you?
It was Devin. He's been on this podcast a lot, and he's goofy and shit. But one thing I respect about that dude, he can be serious as fuck.
Yeah, good for him for being a good. That's a good fucking friend.
But the way he says, he's like, you're scared to talk in front of a camera, and I'm like, dude, if you're fucking checking me, I need to check myself. So I schedule it, and I didn't even think I said anything crazy. It's just basically hey, this is what the podcast is going to be. The premise is highlighting people's stories, my stepmom message. She had run every day. She always ran miles every day. It was her thing. And then something happened to her. She lives in the West Coast. Something happened to her that stopped her from running. And she messages me this long voice memo. She's like, she calls me Muscles. She's like, hey, Muscles, I just listened to your first episode, and I just want you to know, like, that really inspired. I'm going to start running again. And I'm like, holy fuck. Wait, like, I didn't even talk about anything. I didn't have a guest. And I'm like, wow. Okay. One person.
The fact that you went for it, you got out of your comfort zone and did it, and that was inspiring.
So I'm like, okay. And then I started messaging people, and who was my first guest on the podcast? Devin. He's like I'm reaching out to people like, oh yeah, I don't know. Devin's like, fuck it, I'll talk to you. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, this is gonna be interesting. And we literally set up at his house, and this is like perseverance, right? Like, I was so excited that I had someone. I was so excited that I had a location. I was so excited. I forget my fucking laptop at home. And he's just like, bro, I got a laptop. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. And I was like, wait, actually, hold on. And I have the Adobe suites. So it comes with, I believe, Adobe Audition, which I don't use. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, no, there's a software. Like, I can log in. I'm like, dude, let me see your laptop. He had like a Chromebook. I'm like, dude, we can fucking do this.
It would have been so easy to just be like, well, I don't have my laptop, so.
Yeah, but I'm like, no, we can do. So we literally set up. We sit down. I didn't have talking points at that time. So we were just like fucking clueless. And then we're talking, and we just get lost in this conversation. And he like, if you know him in real life, he's goofy. He's an amazing fighter, but he's goofy. And you're like, like, how serious, like, how much can we pull from this? But dude just like started talking about like what got him into boxing and like helping the kids and coaching. I'm like, the whole time I'm like, fuck, dude, this is a phenomenal conversation. And we end it, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, we're on to something here. Mm-hmm. And then I just kept it going. Like, everyone I messaged, now people are asking to come on and stuff, which is cool, because I'm like, I want to fit everyone on. I feel everyone has a story. Yep. Everyone has a story, whether you're a fitness coach, an MMA fighter. So I was getting a lot of MMA fighters from my gym. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, man, I don't want this to be like an MMA podcast. But the more of them I talk to, I'm like, hold on. Every single one of these people has a different reason for doing this. Mm-hmm. A different motivation, a different mindset, a different discipline. Everyone's story is different. I'm like, fuck, this is... So I just pull shit, and I get so excited to talk to people. Like, I messaged you. I'm like, dude, I wasn't supposed to be in Erie. My fucking mom's coming from Puerto Rico and locked her key in. She's like, can you drive up and let us in? I'm like, oh man, I can. Damn. Like, I can talk to Megan. I'm like, so I fucking texted you. You didn't respond, so I went to the man in charge. That got me canceled. He's like, she said she'll think about it. I'm driving up to Erie. She's jumping on.
Yeah, I thought about it. Okay, because I was actually nervous. Like, I don't know.
Are you nervous now?
No, I'm not.
No,
nervous.
like, none of this ends up mattering. That's why.
Yeah,
like the first episode was tough, and then you just forget all this shit's here.
That is why, like, who am I to tell my clients, get out of your comfort zone, do something that you're not comfortable doing, do something that makes you nervous, if I'm not doing it myself? Like, it doesn't make sense. I can't do that. So I looked at this as an opportunity to get out of my comfort zone and get better at this, because, like, if I came on here, and I hope I don't suck, but if I completely bombed and it sucked and I was, stuttering and whatever, it's okay. Like, life is going to go on. We're all going to die one day, and none of this is going to matter. So what the fuck?
Yeah. It's
like, that helps me so much.
The Relentless project. Like,
that helps me so much. Like, with anything that I'm thinking about, it's like, we're all going to die one day. And, like,
dude, you ever think about that stuff too?
Like, no one's going to know who we are in like 100 years. Like, you don't know who your great grandparents are.
I just talked about this. I was like, in 100 years, someone's going to live in our house.
I saw a video. I saw a video.
I watched it. I was like,
yes.
Damn.
I literally just saw it, I think, this morning.
I'm like, damn, that is so true. Like,
all of our
in
friends,
the realm of things, and this is like, I approach, like, people would look at me like, dude, you're fucking wild. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, there will be a point in time where we don't do this anymore. Like, our ticket gets pulled. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm gonna enjoy and treat people good, like, not because I have to, but because I get to, like, yep. So many good things.
I love that mindset. Like, I get to, not I have to.
Yeah, like, I was a miserable dude because I didn't have much, and I had to struggle and this and that. And like, now that I'm on the other side of that, I'm so grateful for that, because I got to see like where I was and how I could have ended up. And I'm like, no, like, it's simple mind shift, a mindset. Like, at the end of the day, we all die.
Yep.
And then this earth like remains, and
Yeah,
the
it's
show goes
still,
on.
yeah, it's still spinning. We're still, yeah.
And like when I'm 70 or 80 or 90, do I want to be sitting in my chair going, man, I should have done that. Like, why didn't I explore this? Why didn't I push for that? Why didn't I start that podcast? Why didn't I do jujitsu?
Most of your regrets are going to come from things that you didn't do, chances you didn't take, risks you didn't take.
Oh, and yeah, now I'll fail 1,000 times before I not start something. Like I would rather fail 1,000 times than not, because everyone talks about success, but when have you ever seen success come with no failure?
Never.
It's
just part of success.
it's the process to success.
Like hurry up and fail. Like keep trying to fail because you know you're that much closer to success.
The more you fail and pull from it, like learn from it, the less likely you are to fail that way again. You start eliminating all these. Next thing you know, you're like, where was the Amazon started? Do you know? In a garage.
Really?
In a garage of I believe his in-laws.
That's crazy.
And now it's one of the biggest companies.
He wasn't
in the
waiting
world.
until he had the perfect warehouse.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then I start thinking like, dude, like one day I'm gonna die. Like I'll be laying in bed and I'm thinking like,
and it could be next week. So like why am I not starting right now?
It's like 11:30. I know I got to be up at 4, and I'm like I get to go to the gym tomorrow. I'm not like, and one thing I hate doing, running. Well, since I've torn my meniscus, I got surgery, I haven't been able to even walk, let alone run.
You just wanna run.
I'm like, dude, like I take that for granted. The ability to run, the ability to feel that feeling of this sucks so good. Because I get to do this. And like that's how I try to approach things. Like I don't like, I get to go to the gym. I get to show up for work. I get to do this podcast. I get like anytime
I get to even do like dishes. I get to meal prep. I get to do laundry because somebody that's dying in a hospital would love to be able to do laundry. Their normal routine. Yeah, somebody out there would love to do that. So why am I taking it for granted? Like I have clothes that I'm able to buy. Somebody out there can't afford it. And like there's something in our brain called the reticular activating system, and it's like a filter for your brain. So like you're taking in all this information, but obviously your brain can't take in all the information, like actually like remember. So like if you're looking for a certain thing, like if you're looking for, DJ and I like to play like punch bug. So like anytime we see a punch bug, we punch each other. We still do that. But
classic game.
Yes. But if you're looking for that type of car, you're going to start to see it. Same way, if you're looking for things to be grateful for, you're going to see more things to be grateful for. It works the opposite way too, though. If you're looking for all the things that, you know, oh, this is so stressful or losing weight is so hard, life is going to show you all the ways that losing weight is hard.
I saw this on a podcast. Take 2 seconds to look around the room. Real quick. Go ahead, do it. Okay. Now look at me. How many yellow things have you seen? No, don't keep looking.
I don't know. 5 maybe. The yellow fat blob, the picture.
You're just remembering. Now, if you look for yellow things, how many can you find?
A lot more than 5.
That's the reticular.
Yeah.
That thing.
The RAS.
But like,
I learned that, and I'm like,
it's
genius.
It's how the universe operates. Like I'm a faith man. I'm a God-fearing man. I believe we were made by design for all good. Now mankind falls. If you know the story, you know the story. But by design, we are to experience good. And it's all, whether you call it energy, faith, higher power, it's by design. You can't, like, people want good. People need good. If you put out good energy, it will come back to you. And if you're looking for good, you're doing good, you're treating people good, you're doing good things happen. It, like, there's 1,000 theories on how it happens, but at the end of the day, you can't negate that. Like, if you do good, good will be done. Yeah. And if you look for, like, you will find whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for an excuse, you will find the excuse. If you're looking for a way, you will find
That's you with the laptop. You forgot your laptop. I'm looking for a way to do this, so we're gonna make it work.
I was gonna do it on my phone. I was gonna do it on. If you're looking for a way, you will find one. If you're looking for an excuse, you will also find one. That's with anything. Do you want to start that new career? Well, I don't know if I can afford it, or it's risky, or it's something different. Well, if you're gonna
I
give
said, fuck that shit. I'm not happy. Like,
Yeah,
and I see like my parents working jobs that they hate, and they're trying to tell me like, no, like stick with them. Like, no, this isn't what I'm meant to do. Like, this is my life, and I'm gonna take this risk. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But like, I'm gonna try to make sure it actually works out.
I saw another post. What's the worst that can happen if this fitness thing didn't work out for you? You work until you're 65. Your worst case scenario is people's everyday life.
Yeah.
I saw that post. I'm like, damn. Like, you're trying to start a business or start a fitness coaching. Like, if that fails, you go find a job. That's what you would have been doing
Exactly.
anyway.
But at least I took a risk. And like, if that's not what I want to do, then I can take another risk and start another business or, whatever. But yeah, that's not even a bad thing. So
You got to risk it to get the biscuit. That's what they say, right?
hell yeah.
What advice would you give people trying to break into the fitness industry to help others? Like, trying to fill the niches. Like you've taken women on. That's awesome. Cause I don't see a lot of that. Like, if you're in the fitness world, you're coaching, you're training. Like, you've picked your niche. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. What advice would you give people trying to come in and change careers, change paths, not just for fitness, but like, I want to do this, but I'm scared or I'm nervous or they have that mental block.
Yeah. I feel like the fastest way to do it would be to get a mentor or a coach. Like, same thing with the fitness thing. If you're just trying to lose weight, and obviously there's just so much on the internet, like, yeah, you can figure it out on your own, but the fastest way to do it would be to invest in a coach. Like, truly, like if you're overwhelmed and you can't get yourself to do the thing and you're in your head, if you're trying to, be a fitness coach, like, just get a coach yourself. Like, someone that knows what they're doing, that can help you through all of your mental struggles. But if you didn't want to get a coach, I would say talk to somebody who's in the field that's doing it and let them give you some advice. But I feel like the best thing would be to just pay for a mentor. It's obviously expensive, but it's 100% worth it.
Well, not necessarily pay for it. Find a mentor. Like,
Yeah.
because there's people who'll take you on
Yeah.
because they want to pass the buck. And I was talking with DJ, obviously behind the scenes, and the amount he's invested in a mentor and mentors, and it's just crazy to me. But then you see the fruit from all that. You see how he's become, I was here when this was before, and what it is now, it's just like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, one of the biggest things I miss about living in Erie is the gym, the culture, the people, the facility, like what you guys have built. Like, there's not many gyms, if any, like that. And that's something you have to come here to experience. But like, it's one of the things I miss but he's always been this way. But these mentors kind of like solidified it, put him on a path, and pushed him. And I think having a mentor is huge, because why would you you can go through the journey, learn all the mistakes and stuff. But if you can streamline that
And learn from other people's mistakes and not have to make them yourself.
Wouldn't you?
You'll love this analogy. So like, even for fitness coaching, so like, we've been getting into golf really this past year, a little bit last year too, and we got golf lessons, because the thought of that is, why am I going to go out, pay whatever amount of money, because it's not cheap, to be frustrated and pissed off and hate golf, when I can go get the lesson, learn what I'm doing wrong, and then practice getting better at that, rather than practicing all the wrong things and keep sucking year after year, when I can just invest some money now so then I can be better sooner and be less frustrated. Same thing with fitness coaching. It's like, why am I going to try to figure out how to track macros and what workouts to do and, the mindset stuff that goes with it? It's like, why am I going to try to figure that out on my own when I can just pay someone to do it? I get the results sooner, and I don't have to go through making all the mistakes that I would have on my own. So I love that analogy, because it like puts it into perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, how can you expect people to, come to you for expertise if you're not willing to go to experts in the field you're looking?
And I've paid a lot of money for business coaching as well, like a lot, like almost as much as my car last year. And I thought about it for a little bit. We went to like this seminar, and they dropped the price, and it's like, it's a lot of money. Like, I've never spent that amount of money in my life, but it's like I knew I needed to do it. Like, again, it's getting out of your comfort zone. It's like more good is going to come from this than not. So why don't I just do it?
Yeah. And like, caveat, well, I don't have the money to do this. Okay, what do you have? What can you give? Because it's about the principle. Like, people like to make excuses of, oh, you spent as much as a car. I don't have that money. I can't do it. What
How
do
can you
have?
make more money? Can you walk dogs? Can you donate plasma? I was just thinking about this because, like, there's
plasma?
these.
I heard plasma's like
You can make
gold.
Yes, you can make a decent amount of money doing that kind of stuff. But it's like, the way I look at this is, if I had a Lamborghini outside and I said, "Hey, Ish, it's yours for $5,000." And if you didn't have $5,000, are you going to come up with that $5,000? You're going to ask all your friends, you're going to ask your family, you're going to do what it takes. You're going to mow people's lawn. You're going to do something to make that money. People just don't want the results like that. Cuz like, once you have the Lamborghini, you don't have to put in the work. Like, you have a fucking Lamborghini. Like, you don't have to work out. It still takes work, but you have to treat it like that, because even if you have a Lamborghini, if you hate the way you look, you hate the way you feel, and you're going to die early because you're not taking care of yourself, what good's a fucking Lamborghini? It's not good. So that's the way I look at it, because most people are spending a lot of money on fast food every week, golf, whatever else people do. They makeup, hair, nails, tanning, eyelashes, the bar, yes, alcohol. Oh my God. Add up how much money you're actually spending on that stuff and see if you can't actually afford whatever you're trying to afford, whether it's a mentor, whatever.
That's so true. Like, I'll hit on both, because I'll see people like, oh, I can't afford a gym membership. I'm like, oh, it's like $30. Like,
what about Planet Fitness then?
Yeah, $10 a month. I'm like, dude, you just gloated about all the money you spent at Cavo. A table there is like $500 to start, and you're doing this every weekend.
And people believe their lies. They're like, oh, I actually can't afford it. Like,
or every other week, I'm like, what do you mean you can't afford $10 a month? Well, it's Planet Fitness. It's a gym.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you can afford. Like, do it for sure. But also, on the same token, there are people who don't indulge in any of that and can't make ends meet. But it's like, well, what can you give? Because the principle is investing something. If you have the money to invest, absolutely do it. If you don't have the money to invest, find the money.
Yep.
Like, now your
Credit
resource
card.
is time.
Yeah.
How can you allocate your time to get a mentor? Will you work for them? Like, someone said, if you work for someone for free, like the whole premise of working for someone for free, if you want to be in this field, if this is what you want to do, like essentially internships, why wouldn't you, like, you're giving them time and they're giving you experience.
Yeah.
You're learning from the experts of where you want to be.
Take that trade all
Like, if I wanted to be a fitness coach, I'd probably come in here and be like, yo, I will work for free for you guys. I just ask, like, would you guys, like, coach me, mentor me? Like, can I shadow you? You don't need, I'm not even there. Pretend I'm not there. But the access to ask questions and see how you're doing it, like, like, there's so many, like, life is interesting because it's so unique for everyone. Like, I'm a type of, like, I'll work for free for here. Like, can I hang out in the gym? I will mop. I will clean. I'll wash the toilets. Whatever you need me to do. Run errands. Like, just let me be around you guys. People don't want to do that because it's, oh man, like, like, well,
they want money. They want that instant gratification.
Yeah. So then you don't want to do this, because if you want to do this,
you'd be willing to do that.
You'd be willing to do all this stuff. Like, nothing is above me. I have done some things to learn, like, not like that, but like, like, especially like in like business, like real estate. I was shadowing people in policing. Like, I want to be the best at what I do. I was going to DT courses. I pay to go to my own trainings most of the time, or I'll shadow, like, instructors who I want to be like, who I want to model. Like, that's, like, I'm using my resources for that. Other people are like, oh, if the department ain't paying me, then I ain't going. It's like, then you don't want to be in this field.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't.
What are you doing? Like,
you shouldn't want to be a cop and you're in charge of your community safety. your team's safety. You're expected to show up back home every night, and you don't want to go to a gym, or you don't want to train. You don't want to push yourself in these fields, but you're literally in charge of the safety and security of an entire community. And not to mention, like, worst case scenario, you die on the job. Do you know what impact a cop was killed? You know what impact that has on your community? But the department isn't paying you $25 to work out or $50 a month for a combative gym. I ain't going.
Crazy.
It's like, you're not
It's
invested.
so crazy.
You're not invested. That goes with any field. Like, you want to become a partner at a law firm. Are you there in the morning turning on the coffee? Are you turning on the lights? Is the boss walking past your desk because you're the only one there? It's every other cubicle's empty? Or are you showing up late or on time? You're doing what's expected of you. It's like,
and then going home.
and not diving into your thing. People will work for someone else's dream and won't spend a fucking minute of their day. And you know what's crazy? At the end of the day, everyone has the same 24-hour bank. Like, you see these people making billions of dollars and doing. They have 24 hours. They put their pants on one leg at a time, unless they're weird. They bleed red. Like, we're all fucking similar. We just have different choices that we make.
Yep.
And people like to be like, oh, they got stuff. Okay. Like,
They're just so lucky.
Yeah. I didn't have a silver spoon.
Yeah.
I can sit there and complain, or I can go out and try to make something happen. And it's an all mindset thing. But at the end of the day, you got to dumb it down, because that's how it is. Like, when he was like, you're scared to talk in front of a camera. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a normal fear to have.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
Yep.
you're scared to talk in front of a camera.
You're scared to go out in a gym where you know nobody. Their opinions don't matter.
You're going to leave and never
pick
see
some
them.
shit up and put it down. And when you actually dumb it down like that, and like, people don't really, like, with the gym situation, it's like everybody is so focused on themselves, it doesn't matter. Like, they're not focused on you at all anyway.
That is so true. Like, I'll go to a gym, I don't notice anything.
No, because you're worried about yourself.
And most people at the gym are probably regulars, and they're worried about themselves. They're worried about what they're doing. I can see why it's intimidating, but at the end of the day, you're scared to have people look at you
that you don't even know, and they're not going to say anything.
They don't pay your bills.
Yes.
They don't affect your life. Like, but sometimes you have to dumb things down to go, fuck, what am I thinking? Like, I just got to do it.
I saw a video and I loved it. It was the guy was asking, how do you guys not care what people think about you? And this guy responded to the video and he said, I realized I didn't actually know what they were thinking about me. I just knew what I thought they were thinking about me, and I was making them think mean thoughts about me, which is on me. Like, I was manipulating them, because we don't know. Like, I could be sitting here, you could be like, wow, she's such a dumbass, and maybe I'm thinking that you're saying
Damn,
that.
you got it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but like,
no, that's not true.
I'm just making that up on my own insecurity. Like, oh, Ish is looking at my arm, and I'm like really insecure about my arm. Like, did he notice like my arm's huge and jacked?
Damn, whoa, you're covering up all. Geez, easy.
No, but like, you're not even thinking about that. But based on my insecurity, I'm just portraying what I think that you're making up about me, and it's like, that's not true at all.
I have never thought of it that way.
You walk into a gym and you see someone look at you, and you're insecure about your belly, and it's like, they're looking at my belly, and they're
you're putting that out to yourself.
Yes, it's just, yeah, you're using them. Like, it's so crazy how like actually selfish we are and how much we think about ourselves. But it's like, obviously we're ourselves, and we think about ourselves, and we're focused on ourselves, but everybody else is as well. And like, that has helped me so much once I realized that. And I'm like, that is so true. Like, we don't know what people are thinking about us, and it doesn't matter anyway. Even if they are thinking mean thoughts about us, like,
we don't know that. So
like, instead, hey, it's just checking out how jacked I am. Hey.
And then you start walking in the gym like this,
yes.
and visible lat syndrome.
Yes.
Now we're really looking at you. No.
Yes, but like, it literally doesn't matter. So like, you can think, oh, they're looking at me because I have a nice butt. Like, that's, instead of, oh, they're looking at me for my insecurity, they're looking at me because they like my outfit, or they like the way my hair looks. Like, just, you're already making shit up. So like, why not just make up something that's positive?
That makes sense, because then you're going to carry yourself different. Like, if you're thinking everyone's out to get you and mean, you're going to walk a certain way.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh man, I'm cool, like, you're going to walk a certain way, you know? And at the end of the day, if you're walking around chin up and proud, like, that is good.
Yep.
Damn, see? I got all kinds. I got the discipline muscle.
Yeah, write that down.
Shit, let me get the notes out, man. She's preaching. So in this fitness industry, you've made a name for yourself. You obviously have created this following. How important is it to stay true to yourself, remaining the person of yourself? Because it's easy once you get influence. Because the more influence you get, the more ability you have to be influenced. Mm-hmm. People don't like to think about that. Like, you see these big names, I can't talk on this because my following, or I can't do because of my following, or like you released this video about Ozempic, and like anyone else would be like, that's a touchy subject. I can't. But like, what I respect about you is like, hey, I'm giving you my opinion on this. This is like, you're staying true to yourself, and everyone may not agree, but that's okay. Yeah. Like how important is it to remain true to yourself as you dive into this deeper and you start to gain more influence?
Well, first of all, you're talking like I have a huge following. My following's not that big.
Yeah, go to her, go to her TikTok, go to her Instagram. That's all. Like,
yeah. Okay. Well,
humbleness. I like it.
I mean, I have like what, 15,000 on Instagram.
It's like 20.
No, it's 15, I think.
You gotta stop buying those fake followers.
Yeah, someone just recently asked me that.
Okay, 15.5. You're correct.
I'll tell you how I built that following. I had 1,300 followers from that wall sit video. Went up to like 13,000.
So I have the wall sit. Guess I ain't getting followers.
You could try dancing in your cop uniform.
Hey, I'll address that. I am embarrassed. First off, here's my public statement. I am embarrassed. And like anyone else would have deleted it, but I'm like, no, that was a moment in my life, and
that's why I keep up my cringy shit.
Yeah, and I'll embrace it because that was a time where police were fucking hated and this and that, and I'm like, what better way to like see that I'm just as goofy and dumb as everyone else? Like, I have a badge and a gun. That doesn't make me any different than you. Nope. And, like, I actually got a lot of
silly
following.
Man.
Yeah. People look at me and they're like, dude, I thought you were, like...
a big dickhead? Like,
and rude. I'm like, well, what the fuck gave that away? Because if you know me,
I get that all the time. I get, I thought you were a bitch. Like, why?
Because you're fit and you probably walk around like, and you're mean to me and they see that. You gotta stop. No, like, I get that at the gym all the time. I'm like, hey, man. I'm like, hey, dude, what's up? I'm like... oh, dude, I thought you were gonna... and you just see, like, their chest going down. I'm like, what the fuck? I have a beard and tattoos, and it's scary.
Well, I guess they're not looking up to you. It's like, hey, hello.
Dude, is this Attack the Host Day or what?
That's just how we are. I'm being my authentic self. And about your question. So, yes, it's very important to say authentic. And I feel like people like that because it's like people... I don't know, maybe don't want to work with me because of my results. Because like you can get results from a lot of fitness coaches out there, but it's like they want to work with me because I'm me and I have this opinion. So it's like you draw a line in the sand. I think that's what it's called, and you take your stance. And some people are gonna love it and they're gonna love you more, and some people aren't, and that's okay. And those aren't your people. So like it doesn't bother me. Like the way I look at it is those people were never gonna work with me anyway. And they just weren't my people, and that's okay. Like, I wish them well, but these are my people. And now these people they follow me more, and they like what I have to say more because I said that specific thing.
Because they trust you.
Yeah.
It's all about relationship, and like I think oftentimes as people get influenced, they wanna satisfy everybody, and that's where you run into issues and trouble. And it's like, I know I'm not for everybody. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I rub people the wrong way. But I try not to. Like, I always try to remain respectful and cordial. But at the end of the day, I have my opinions. I have my way. Like, I talk a certain way. And when I started this, I was so worried, like, oh, what if I don't get enough followers? It's like, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, if I have 50 people who ride for me, love what I have to say, you've changed their lives. I'm changing their lives. They're listening and they like what they hear, and it's influencing them.
That's what matters. Not all the people that don't give a shit.
Or 2,000 people who follow me but have so much shit to say.
Yeah, they're only following you so they have shit to talk.
Yeah, it's like I would rather have 50, even one. If it was one person listening every day, and I've had people message me like crazy things of like how their life has changed, or like there was this woman who talked about like because of my podcast, it put her in the mindset to sign up for a marathon. I'm a fuck.
You?
Me? I'm like, that's dope. I never run a marathon. I never ran a marathon. We'll probably never run a marathon, but that's fucking
That's
sweet.
amazing. Like, you changed that person's life. Like, they had that big accomplishment now because you started this podcast. All because you set up these microphones and you talked in front of
a camera that I was scared to do.
Yeah.
Like, so I would rather have a smaller niche following that respects me and appreciates me than everyone, than the group who has everything to say. And I think the more influence you get, the more people are influenced because they don't want to offend. And it's like, unless you're being an asshole, or unless you don't have,
you're allowed to have an opinion. Like, no matter how big your following is, you can still have an opinion, and you should.
People forget about that. Like, people, I like Joe Rogan, but he said this. He's a fucking human. Yeah. And guess what? You can still like him. You just don't have to agree with that.
Exactly.
You agreed with every other episode, but now you have to cut him off because this, like, or it just blows my mind how we as people get, you know, or like on the opposite end, you start to get influence and you're like, oh, we're going to avoid that because it's like, well, I mean, if you want to talk about it, talk about it. Like, people come on here and they're like, man, what am I allowed to talk? Whatever the fuck you want to talk about. It's uncensored. It's like, whatever you want to talk about. I mean, I would prefer you keep it motivational because that's the whole premise of this. Yeah. But if you go into a story about some shit, that's you, bro.
Somebody can relate to that, though. Like, there's no limits. But yeah, I think just remaining true, no matter how many followers you have. Like, even if I had a couple million followers, like, it's not going to change who I am. I'd like to think that. I mean, we don't know because I only have like 15,000. But hey, I don't like to say only because, like, that's like somebody saying I only lost 2 pounds. It's like, it's still an accomplishment. Followers to me, though, it's not like.
I was going to check your ass. I'm glad you did. I'm like, only. Yes.
But like, followers to me, it's more about the people that I can help more than the followers. Because, like, yeah, followers are nice and they're flashy, but like, if I can help people, like, that's really truly what I want to do. Like, I don't make money from having more followers. I guess I do if they see me and, you know, want to work with me. But yeah, I know people that are making 6 figures a month that have less than 1,000 followers, which is crazy. So
the less than 1,000 or the 6 figures a month?
Less than 1,000 followers. But yeah, it's
like, so I was actually having this conversation with someone the other day about social media, and I met this one coach. Well, he's a defensive tactics coach, black belt in jiu-jitsu, phenomenal fighter. And I'm like, hey, do you have an Instagram? He's like, nah. And I'm like, what?
It's 2024.
Dude, everyone in this gym knew this dude's name. Everyone's like, yo, what's up, bro? I heard about you. Like, dude's like, obviously has influence.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, dude, like, I want to follow you. What's your Instagram? He's like, oh, I don't have one. Are you lying? I'm like, no, I'm not really on social media. And in my mind, like, and I'm guilty of them. First thing I'm like, who the fuck are you then? You don't have social media. But then I'm like, what is influence? Your ability to influence your community and people and
because before social media, like, people still had influence.
That's how it was. Yeah, you got your name, word of mouth. Dude, word of mouth is, and that's the thing. Social media sometimes may create this false influence. It's like back in the day, it's word of mouth, right? Like, hey, you ever heard of Coach Megan? Oh yeah, phenomenal coach. Then she tells her, then, you know, she works with you. Then she tells, oh, phenomenal coach. Like, you're gonna believe your friend, over this dude cultivates videos, posts exactly what he wants us to see. Yes. Like, people will follow that more than someone they have access to.
That's the time that I have the most people reach out is when I have a client post about their story, their journey working with me, and their friends are like, oh my God, what are you doing? And then, like, they tell, and yeah, that's the best.
We going to work, babe.
Yeah. We getting mighty and stuff.
Oh, we getting mighty. So tell us about the Mighty Babes. Well, what is the Mighty Babe? What's the premise behind Mighty Babe? Why did you come up with Mighty Babe? What does it mean? I was sick of your logo that you made. I'm kidding. No, that was a sick logo. I did love that logo, but I had to, like, I didn't want it to just be Megan More Fitness, and that's what his logo was. It was just like 2 M's. I'm going to blame that you changed your last name, even though the letters didn't change, but yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not MM. But yeah, so I like Mighty because
the way I look at it, it's like mentally and physically mighty. It's like you can be strong. Like I forget the actual definition of mighty, like word for word, but it's like strong, especially on account of size. Like it doesn't matter how small you are, how big you are. Being strong in your own skin and in your own body, I think is just really important. So that's kind of like where the mighty came in, and like babe, because it's like we're the fucking babes. Like, you know, it's like girly and it's like, yeah, it's like
I fuck with it. I like it.
Yeah.
It embodies who you are.
Yeah.
Because as much as I hate to admit it, you're mighty. No, all jokes aside, like you walk around, you hold your head high, you know, you empower people to want to be better. And I think mighty is being more than yourself, you know, in strength, in mindset,
yes,
in behavior. Because if something's mighty, you have an expectation for it, and this exceeds said expectation.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the definition, but
no,
when
I
I
love
think
that.
mighty, that's
you
what
explained it better than me.
Like that's what I envision. It's
I'm
like,
stealing that.
Hey, $5 a month, you can use it.
Hey, you can use my shit for $5 a month.
Oh yeah, the discipline. Never mind, trade. But where can people find you if they want to know more about your story or push or who the fuck are you? No, I'm kidding. The boss came in.
Dan.
Lieutenant. Okay.
What is this, Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Now I gotta bleep that. No, I'm kidding.
They can find me on Instagram at Coach Megan. Just Coach Megan. That's it.
Oh, simple. Okay.
Yes. MEGAN.
Oh, I guess you
Some
do
people
have to...
put their little H in there. No, just MEGAN. Simple. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything I talked about, I'm willing to give, like, I have a bunch of free resources. So if you shoot me a DM and say, hey, I was listening to you on the Relentless project, I will shoot some free stuff at you and, yeah, help you out.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on the Relentless project. This is the one with Coach Megan. Damn, them hands is strong.
Thanks for having me, Ish.